So you were talking about who's funding the pre-K. Where's the money? Is that part of, or where's the funding coming for that?
It is part of state funding at this point for preschool programming for 4-year-olds for GSRP. And we are understanding, based on information coming to us from the department, that there is interest in expanding that. There's language around universal preschool or preschool for all, and we anticipate additional funding for that. The governor's budget at this point for next fiscal year does include additional funding. We know there's a lot of road ahead to determine what that final budget will be, but yes, we do receive funding for preschool.
The GSRP stands for what?
I'm so sorry. Great Start Readiness Program.
Any other questions for the commissioners? All right. Was there additional comments?
I think it's been covered thoroughly.
All right.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time and attention. Have a great day.
We wish you well. And if others have a question for them, I'm sure that they'll be available for you to ask the questions in the hallway. So, thank you so much. With that, I will invite the public for public comment at this time. The rules for the public comment are on the agenda sheet if you would like, and feel free to come up. It is a 3-minute time period.
Greetings, Joe Bonadise, Homer Township. 2 weeks ago, we were able to get a copy of Form 3881, the Midland Public Schools bond application form to the Treasury Department to qualify the 2025 bond. This was freely given when requested, but not offered. The positive concepts in this data are used in their marketing, but there was more. I will grant you, some of this may be known to people who've written bonds, but Joe Q. Public was not aware of a bunch of this. This is a general unlimited bond, which means that the MPS district's taxable property is the guarantor no matter what happens. Don't pay your taxes, lose your house. They have moved from 15-year bonds in 2015 to 25-year bonds this time to save on payments. They're still paying $1.4 million to buy down an interest rate, and they're going to end up paying $88 million more in interest for the longer term on these bonds. Well, this bond is layered on top of 2015, which you saw, and we will likely have a 2035 bond layered on top of that. Yes, they have already said they will be back in for another bond. The longer period of this 25-year bond will mean we have a higher base for the next one. They assume that Midland will be growing at 1.65% over the next 25 years. If you look at the taxable value and take out the housing bubble and the great financial crisis, which are outliers, the baseline for the district is only 1.03%. And the higher millage rate will end up making up that difference. Also, as we have all experienced, if the state mandates the taxable value of your house goes up like the last 3 years, 5, 5, and 3% each, that's not really growth. That's just inflation. We believe we will have access to a 4.75 interest rate for the next 10 years, even buying it down from their documents. If we grow as we grow into a recessionary period, are they really going to have access to that low of an interest rate? Interest rates higher, your millage rate goes up. And for me, one of the landmines in the 3881 form was in 2025 bond series number 1. MPS is actually going to charge a portion of the cost of the May election to the bond. So they are taking $71,000 reimbursement from the bond proceeds, and we will pay 25 years of interest or for a total cost of $121,000. While this may be legal, I am not happy to be paying for the privilege of being fleeced for 25 years. While the bond request is for $285 million, when you look at the total cost of the bond over 25 years, it comes out to $487 million, essentially $500 million. As MPS gets ready to layer the 2025 bond on top of the 2015 bond, and likely the one after that, they appear to be on a path of addiction to bonds covering foundational expectations, buses, roofs, etc. The public is not ready to put their property in perpetual bondage to their wish list. We need to live within some sort of a budget. There are committees being formed to help people vote no, get your people out. It was only 17% who voted the last time for everyone in the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any additional public comments at this time? Good morning.
Good morning. Renita Bonadies, Homer Township. I've heard the presentation on this bond proposal many times. We have seen the graphic for the targeted 85% showing how overcrowded our schools are, especially the K-5 buildings. So I took a look at their 95-page Form 3881. I found all of the 5-year projections for building capacities and enrollments at each building. This is where it got very interesting. Our current utilization at the K-5 schools is 93%. After we add this nice state-of-the-art elementary, we will be at 94% utilization. Wait, what? You mean we will spend approximately $91.5 million to build a new building and have a worse utilization rate for the K-5 buildings? In fact, the new elementary is showing a 98% utilization rate. So I looked at the projection for all of the buildings in the district. Our current utilization rate is 86% when comparing capacity to enrollment. The projections show that the district utilization rate for all buildings will be at 94% at the end of these projects. Wait, how is that possible? We're to support this bond and go from 86% to 94% utilization rate. They told us 85% was the goal. How is MPS board okay with supporting and presenting this bond to the taxpayers with a 94% utilization rate? They are asking the taxpayers to take on a $500 million debt for the next 34 years for this bond proposal. Let me fill in the gaps for the public. They're reducing the building capacity at all but one building in the projections. In fact, there is a loss of 1,117 students from the current buildings while adding 600 capacity at the new elementary. So there is a net loss of 517 in capacity across the district. So why does it look like we are gaining nothing in reduced class sizes and simultaneously reducing our building capacities for our claim of increasing enrollment? Look to the non-mandated goal of free pre-K the district is forcing on the taxpayers. This is a desired program of some of their biggest business partners that we hear about at our meetings. How did the taxpayers providing K-12 education morph to building preschools? So they present some things they claim are the problem, but never tell us how these things will be better. I think it is because they aren't really fixing some of the main concerns of the community. This is a sleight of hand bond proposal that will likely leave us with buyer's remorse down the road, but it will be too late. Everyone needs to vote. Your silence is your consent. And I'm a member of the committee for students, Midland students and taxpayers, and we need to make sure the community has all of the information going into this bond election. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any additional public? Comment. Good morning.
My name is Laura Phillips. I live in Midland. So I've been here about 18 months. I have a junior in high school. He attends Midland High. We moved from a much bigger area. And my children's school at that time was a 9 through 12 high school that had almost 4,000 students in it. My son is, and I'm not just mom bragging, he is brilliant. And part of the reason that we moved to Midland from Arkansas was better funded schools. And schools that have not been defunded by the state. And schools that were smaller, where my child is not slipping through the cracks. He's not one of almost 800 kids in his class. He's one of 250. Having come from a much bigger area, yes, our facilities are incredibly dated. But that's okay because we're making do. But students and teachers and staff shouldn't have to make do. The signs in town when we moved said City of Modern Explorers. We can't continue to grow modern explorers in dated facilities where the elementary school where learning starts are overcrowded. And someone mentioned pre-K. Pre-K is vital. A lot of parents don't have the means or time or money to send their children to private daycares where they're not getting a curriculum that helps them learn and prepares them for learning. So 2.9, I don't remember the exact number of the millage, but it's under 3%, or 3 mils, which is crazy low. My taxes here are so much cheaper than they were back south. And while that's good, I also understand that even when my child graduates next year, my responsibility is to help other families have the same education that my son has gotten. And it's important that we look to the future and know that these kids deserve a fair chance. They deserve the best technology. They deserve safe facilities that aren't caving in. They deserve new roofs. They deserve safer school buses. They deserve these things. And it's our responsibility, not just as parents, but as a community,
Ms. Phillips,
to give
your
them to them.
time has elapsed. I'll allow 1 minute to
Okay,
finish.
thank you. So I guess I don't understand a lot of the hesitation that people are saying, and it really feels like I've got mine, so no one else gets theirs, and that's really sad. So I want to thank the school board and the presenters from Midland Public Schools, and I want to thank people that are coming into this with an open mind, and I want to thank the community for welcoming families like mine and schools for giving my kids such a good start. Thank you.
Thank you.